God level, you can tell him I said it. Level up. God level, you can tell him I said it. Level up. God level, you can tell him I said it. Level up. Level up. Level up. Go. Everything, that means everything. Eyes connected to everything. And that's why I'm in everything. All eyes on me. All eyes on everything. That means everything. Eyes connected to everything.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm here. All right, let's do this. This is Things That People Don't Want to Talk About, brought to you by God Level. That will be me. I am originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm a mother. I'm a nurse. I'm an entrepreneur. I have this podcast. I'm a sister. I'm a friend. I'm an aunt. I am a Gigi. I am everything good. John, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
Yeah, John Skywalker, the Sly Talker here. I'm a lyricist, spoken word artist, martial artist, personal trainer, lover of life, student of psychology, and I'm a father who has 5 hip-hop albums, conscious, positive, uplifting, motivating hip-hop albums. Available on all major music streaming platforms now. Look up John Skywalker, John Skywalker, John Skywalker, John Skywalker. When you're on Tidal, Amazon, Apple, look up John Skywalker. Salute.
Salute. Ivy, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
I do not have 5 albums. I think that needs to be said at this moment.
Thank you.
What's going on, y'all? It's your girl, Innocent of Ivy. You can find me on social media platforms. I am a mother, a sister, a friend, former military broadcast journalist, and I talk. My platform is speaking about mental health and ADHD for the community because of the fact that is something that it looks different. It looks different on us, right? So I like to speak about that, and I like to share stuff from my own journey. Number one, to keep myself accountable of me and my own bullshit, but also so we can all learn, right? So I share my healing journey, and I'm being here, you know what I'm saying? And we gonna keep it a buck. Let's go.
You failed to mention something.
Uh-oh. What's that?
Your art. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's all good.
And I reposted it on my Facebook because the story behind Gertrude is absolutely beautiful. It is the faces that society gives Black women, and she went through the major 3, and was absolutely beautiful. If you see them, and I connect with all of them. I really do.
I guess I should add artists, but it
yes.
a little, but we'll get that another time. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Sherman, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
Mm-hmm. They call me Sherman. I'm loving life and trying not to take anything for granted. That's all I got.
That's what's up.
Man, I was about to be. They call me Sherman. Yeah. I'm telling you, I was right. I was this close.
Next time, go forward. Next time, go
keep it
forward.
Funky. Yeah. And
Next time, just go with it. Mike Lee. It's been a while. Go ahead and represent yourself, brother.
What up? Mike Lee. I'm family. First and foremost, this is my family. We've been rocking with them for a long time now. I'm your family. I am a finance guru, some people say, but what I do is I work with a lot of high net worth individuals, and I teach them how to properly move and protect their money. And I'm very grassroots when it comes to the Black community. So when and if people need to talk to me, I am a resource. I am a subject matter expert. I don't want people to lose the importance or lose track of the importance of a subject matter expert. When your car goes down and you know Mechanic John, who knows a little bit about the cars, he's the plug. He's the person that you talk to save you $300, $400, right? Same thing. I am the plug when it comes to finances. Right now, we're in a very interesting climate. So my work is an extreme need right now. So that's that's me.
That's facts. We need to talk about that too.
That wine that I just tasted is a little strong. I hope I'm not by the end of the show. You know? Whew, I better sip very slowly. But anyway, let's go ahead and get on our topic. We're about to sit back and listen to all three of you black men talk. What am I missing?
Yeah, we ain't doing that, no. So after after he does his spiel, we're actually gonna start off with you.
Well, all right.
Yeah, we're gonna start off with you. But
We started off with you.
let Mike build real quick. Let
Go ahead and build,
let him-
Mike.
Let them cook. Let them cook.
I promise I won't take long. I do have some exciting things happening. John knows about this. God Level knows about this. Ivy, she's going to learn about this. As you guys know, I help a lot of people with life insurance and different financial means. For those people that don't know how life insurance works, you're going to die one day. It is what it is. And there's a right way and a wrong way to do a right and a wrong thing. That's a whole thing in itself. But the right thing to do is to make sure your family is taken care of. Whether it's traditional life insurance, whether it's final expense, those who want to make sure the funeral and burial is taken care of, whether it's mortgage protection, those who have bought a home and they say, you know what, I want to make sure that this is a family home, even if I die, because if you die, your income dies. And it becomes very hard for those people that was depending on your income. So yes, there is a mortgage protection to make sure that your home stays your home, right? Maybe it's IUL, maybe you're trying to build a retirement, whatever it is, I got your back. What I am really, really excited to talk about briefly is I've partnered with a travel agency. My finance organization partnered with a travel agency. And I thought it was a very critical time because one thing that I know, everybody gonna travel. Everybody gonna get up out of here at some point and everybody's gonna have to pick up a hotel. Most people, when they get hotels, they go through public agencies, Expedia.com, hotels.com, Travelocity, whatever it is. What you're seeing there is what's called public pricing. The pricing that everybody gets. However, we all know that somebody got the hookup on these hotels. All right. That hookup usually comes through travel agencies. Okay. So what I did is I partnered with the travel agency, and what they're allowing me to do is give out hotel savings, travel and hotel savings to anybody who gets a free quote. Ain't no obligations. It ain't like you got to buy something. Okay. So if you get a free quote, you're going to get $100 in hotel savings at over 1 million hotels around the world. If you do a policy review because you already have a life insurance policy, $100. If you refer somebody, you're going to get $100 per person that you refer. So yes, you can have $1,000 in hotel savings. Okay, I'm going to share my screen briefly and just give you an example of what this actually looks like. Because one thing that I do know is ain't nobody got time to be paying full price.
We don't do retail over here.
We don't do retail over here. All right. So, can you guys see my screen yet?
Now we
there
do.
It is.
All right, excellent. So what you will notice up here is it says cash credit balance. I have $12,500 in cash credit balance. Okay, so if you get a quote, you're going to get $100 in cash credit balance. If you refer people, you're going to get $100 per person. If you get a policy, guess what? You get an extra $100 in cash credit. Now, instead of going to Expedia.com or hotels.com, let's say you wanted to go to Las Vegas. Let's say we're going to go from May 2nd to the 6th. Let's just take a little long weekend. All right. By the way, John, I don't know if I told you this, but they do have rental car savings.
Oh, yeah. You didn't tell me that. Yeah. Okay. Rental cars. So this applies. So this same cash credit up here applies to both hotels and car rentals.
Correct.
Okay. Gotcha.
Then you got Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino, right? The public price is $775 for this 4 or 5 days. And that is what the price is at Expedia.com, Orbitz, Hotwire, Travelocity, Hotels.com, cheap tickets or whatever. One thing that you'll notice This isn't 7 options. You ain't getting an option of 7 hotels. You have 187 different hotels that you can actually choose from. Okay. Now, because I have cash credits, I actually get money off of my hotel. If you only got $100, it's only going to show you $100. Because I have $12,500, I actually get to see the entire hotel savings. Okay,
Wow.
so instead of paying $775, you're going to pay $412.
Wow.
Okay. Let's just test this thing out. All right. So what is this called? Westgate Las Vegas Resort. Let's go to hotels.com. Sure. Let's go to hotels.com.
That's me. I'm sorry.
You're more than good. Westgate, Las Vegas. The dates are 2nd through the 6th. 2nd through the 6th. We go and search. They got $126 off. The total price is $775. Okay. So when you go to our platform, you'll see the price at all these places is $775. But you will get $363 off. Right? If you wanted to select the room, I'll save you guys time. Well, I'll just show you real quick. I'll take 30 seconds to show you. If you want to select the room, it's just like any other hotel that you go to. It's going to pop up with different room options. And while that's popping up, oh, here we go. $363 off. You get a 1 king bed or 2 doubles. $272 off if you want a premier room, 1 king or 2 queens. And you just book it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
You book it. Just like everywhere else, you're going to have your reservation details. Here's the hotel. Here's the address. This is what time you check in. Cancellation policy. You can get insurance. You put in your guest information. But you'll notice your total is subtracting $362. Right? None of these expire. You don't have to be a part of the travel agency. You don't have to pay a monthly fee. You ain't got to go to no timeshare. None of that. Right? If you want to travel in style, okay, well, let's go to 5-star hotels. Sure. Maybe this is a honeymoon. Maybe this is something special happening, right? Okay, well, here's the Waldorf Astoria. I've been in this actual hotel. It is dope. But instead of paying $26.52, you can pay $18.78, right? Save $773. I say all of this to say that we are doing everything that we possibly can to get in front of people and just teach them how life insurance works. Here's a crazy stat. 76% of people are overpaying for life insurance.
Oh, wow.
76% of people are overpaying for life insurance. And 98% of people have never heard of a not-for-profit life insurance company that gives scholarships and grants and online courses and tuition reimbursement and all the things, right? So I just wanted to drop that. If somebody posts, we have a little excerpt that I can send you guys, but if you guys post that excerpt on your Facebook wall, we're going to give you $500 worth of hotel savings. And the reason is because you can say, hey, friends, there's this thing. All you got to do is get a free quote. All you got to do is get a policy review. 76% of people are overpaying. 98% of people have never heard of life or not-for-profit life insurance. Get a quote with my boy. We're going to give you $500 plus $100 per person that gets a quote. Plus, we're going to give you $50 cash, real USD cash, anytime somebody gets a life insurance policy. So it is the hookup. I know people are going to go back and watch this. I want you to understand, this is not a test. We are really doing this.
How much money have we made so far?
The more important question is how can they get in contact with you, bro?
Hey, the best way to get in contact with me is just give me a call, shoot me a text.
All right. What's that number? What's that number? We can put it up on the screen.
Yeah.
The number is 703 932 5057.
That's what's
All
up.
right.
That's
That's
all I
what's
got
up.
for
Welcome
now.
back, Mike.
Yeah.
Very good. King Newborn, what it do, bro?
Peace, family. How you be, babe?
Drinking, bro.
Okay, there you
Hey,
go. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, brother. I'm sorry, King Newborn.
Love, love, love. How y'all doing, family?
We are good.
Good.
real good.
Ready to get into tonight's topic. You know, me and Ivy already sat back and said that we were going to be learning some things. I mean, I
No,
think
you're not. You're not.
Oh, John.
Hold on, we're back.
Because you know the you represent a demographic that this speaks to. Because the question is, does God level know a good man when she sees one,
Oh, absolutely. I got 3 on this short right now. I'm sorry, 4.
right? But that's part of this whole question is this
Yeah.
was a process for you,
Mm.
and there are other black women that are dealing with the same issue. Ivy, you can attest to that, right?
That's the reason why I bought a notebook. That's the reason
Because
why I got some wine, and I'm like, let's go.
Because there are women out there that want that, right? They want good brothers in their circle. But, we talked about this last week with Sherm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your belief really facilitated a lot of this. Your belief that there are good men out there somewhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that cannot be minimized. That cannot be pushed to
Yeah.
the side. That is a very crucial ingredient. If you don't believe it,
Yeah.
why would God give it to you? Why would the universe give it to you if you
Yeah.
didn't believe it? Right? So in some
That's
way,
true.
you have to truly believe. So you truly believed it.
Yes, I do.
And then, boom, John shows up.
Yeah. King
Right?
Newborn. Sherman.
So
Mike,
I just want to emphasize you guys are just as a part of, like, crucial to this, because your experience in identifying black men from your perception, from your perspective, is also crucial for the demographics that you guys represent. So before we get started into the bigger questions, God level, what made you choose this topic? Why this one? What inspired it? What motivated it?
Past my algorithm on TikTok and past relationships that I now looking back, I had no business entering.
Okay.
Sometimes it's not always good to give them to give a person.
I'm signing off.
I'm sorry. No, Ivy. I'm serious. So now I have 4 damn good examples. If they ain't on John level, on my brother level, Mike Lee, Sherman, I have gotten gems from each and every last one of you men. And I thank God for you. I think God knew what he was doing when he put y'all on my timeline. Thank you. I wouldn't say you restored my faith in men. You showed me that there are good men. Period. And I love to see y'all coming. So yeah, when I talk about good men, you are the men that I am talking about.
And what about you, Ivy? What's been your experience, in shorthand?
You guys showed me something that was different. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and be like, for real. Most of my life, like when I was young, I was raised in the church, right? So it was a particular set of skills that those men had, right? Not saying that those skills were both, bad or good, just saying that they were what they were, right? Then from there, I left my home and I went to the military. And the military can also have a certain type of guy, or you know what I'm saying, or a certain type of male that, like, with a certain set of skills that show up there as well. So for me, y'all, like, actually, to tell you the truth, not only of the fact that you guys show and prove who you are just every day on a daily basis, but it also it gave me the safety to recognize that I had some outdated thoughts about who men were. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? It gave me like
Wow.
anytime that I stopped and I called one of you guys, or if I had a talk with y'all, I was like, hey, what do you guys think? Or anytime that I was like, hey, what's this about? You know what I'm saying? Give me a male perspective. Anytime that y'all made that space open and available for me, it gave me the evidence, because y'all know my brain. My brain is real. I gotta have the evidence in order for me to be able to latch onto it and be able to say that this is something that's different. That's what changes my thought. You guys gave me evidence time and time and time again, and y'all were consistent with it. And that's the reason why. That's the reason why I was like, you know, I finally feel like I am surrounded by some good men. Yes, it is. That natural.
Thank you.
Listen, I wish we had like the little.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous coming on.
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
You know,
He did you a super solid because he was like reading your. So yeah, he did you a super solid. Yeah, that's high level right there. That's high level.
It is.
yeah, just
Yeah.
weaves and braids, and you know they say hair holds trauma. So I had the sides and the back cut, and then I just had the top braided. I'm sorry, dyslexic. It was just time for me to get rid of all of it to start over. You know, so I promise you, this is my new beginning. I don't know what's going on in the month of April, but I'm releasing some things, and I love it. I really do. So yeah, don't make me cry.
Girl, you know, I cry all the time. I'm like, cry if you want to. That's the way I look at it.
No,
That's love.
count on my brother to do it. I swear to God.
That's what makes him a good brother.
Damn.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So so this question right here is just to kind of set the soil, right? I actually, when we first came up with this topic and I started posting in the group, I actually was kind of, I wouldn't say confronted. I was challenged on this by another person of color, unfortunately. And I didn't look at it with dismay. I looked at it as an opportunity to really, make sure that we're setting the groundwork for this. So do we need to address the role and function of race from both a biological and psychological perspective? Do you guys think we need to even go there? Because, I mean, there is this general tendency online to all lives matter everything. All right. We start talking about Latino folks, start talking about black women, but women, so do we need to all lives matter this? Or, I mean, can we say that there are some unique aspects of race as it pertains to the psyche versus the biological? Do we need to do that?
I mean, a lot of these topics, I'm not trying to be funny, are geared toward our community, help healing our community, help building our community, help educating our community, and being an example for our community. So right now, you got it, black man. We need to, black women need to know when they see, they need to be able to point out a good black man versus what we have out there. Now, with every race, they're good and there's some bad.
Right.
That's everywhere you go. We want the women, our good women, to be able to zone in on you good black men. Okay, that's a good one right there. I want them to be able to tell like that.
I was going to say, and I'm sorry, I didn't know if you were done yet. My bad.
Go ahead, babe.
No, I was just going to say, I was like, do we really need to talk about the function of race? You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as
function of race, but the title.
Especially biologically, I'm thinking like scientifically is that what we're saying here?
Well, yeah, because so the premise of the challenge that I got was race is, biologically irrelevant. And I hear this and I'm like, okay, I have a pet peeve about people who say science, but you don't actually operate science. I come for throats because it's like, don't just say science. That is a very broad field, okay? We have different types of sciences, including psychology. And so that's why I say the psychological perspective, right? Because yeah, from a biological, from just this body, okay, yeah, race, irrelevant. But from a psychological perspective, we're talking about the experiences, the ideas of a man due to his skin. That is psychological, not biological. If he's having an experience, that's psychological, not biological. So that's why I felt like, that's what we were arguing from. And it's like, I understand what he was trying to go with this. I understand. But it also made me, realize it seems like we got to set that foundation moving forward when it comes to these topics, because we're talking about white supremacy, right? Okay. First off, white supremacy created all this right here in terms of like the race. So you start with that first, right? So it's not the we need to stop acknowledging that there's race. No, you kill white supremacy, there's no need for race. You kill that, you kill that, right? Now that's an oversimplification, but I'm just saying, if you're going to criticize anything, criticize that first.
Wow.
Don't criticize me for being in the doctrine that everybody else is, because again, no matter where you go, left, right, up and down, on your applications, you're gonna have to identify as something. Okay, so that's the reality. So that's why I say that's psychological in and of itself. You're 23, you identify as a black woman, black man, Latino man, and you're checking, what does that mean, right? Doesn't that co-op or align with some of our experiences as it pertains to our goodness or our perceived goodness? Like you could look at a black man that, let's say for example, he might be selling drugs in his community, right? But then if you see what else he's doing, does your perception of him doing those drugs and you associating that with his skin color, unconsciously of course, does that distort your image or your perception of him being good?
Okay,
right?
So
he's black.
Case,
oh, go ahead. No,
I'm sorry, just to interject. Okay, so if that's the fact, then real quick, let's talk not from the biological perspective or not from the psychological perspective, but probably from the social science perspective. Okay. I'm thinking like that's probably what might need to be addressed just a skosh. Just because if you think about the science of our being social, because our community is our social culture, right? Then let's address it. Let's address it culturally and socially. Address the role of race socially in the like from being a man, from being a black man, like socially, like what is the role?
Yeah, so the role at least from John's perspective, right? So you identify John in terms of also descriptive terms. Hey, you talked to John lately? Oh, okay, man. Look, I know 6 different Johns. Like, which one are you talking about? Oh, well, short, muscular. Like, just imagine you couldn't call me short. Imagine you couldn't call me muscular. It's like, how do you describe me, right? Oh, well, you know the nice guy. All of them are nice. Well, you know the intelligent. All of them are intelligent. Come on, you got to be more specific, man. I know 6 different Johns. Oh man, well, our short guy. All of them are short. Don't make me say it, man. What? Black? Is he black? Oh yeah, I know one guy has. Yeah. But why does that matter? Why does that matter? It matters because you're describing me. I look a certain way. I present myself a certain way. I didn't bleach my skin. I don't have acne. You can describe me being black. It's just respecting that this is how I look, right? Yeah. But there are experiences associated with that. Just like there are experiences associated with being a young white male. There are certain experiences in a white male that's young that I'm not going to understand because I don't have those experiences.
Right.
Otherwise, it would be important, right? All of us need to have those experiences then. So it really goes to show that there is a privilege and then there is a limitation to your racial construct. Yeah. Right. But this is just to set the soil. Race does matter in this because there are social perceptions of us, both in the group and outside the group.
Yeah.
Right. So the question is, even though there might be like this litmus test for goodness amongst all cultures, amongst all races, is it stable from an individual point of view first? Is it stable across time? Do you apply the same metric of goodness regardless of race? You do that? So you don't have any racial biases. That's important to acknowledge. It's not just biology. We're just acknowledging, what do you believe about black men? Because that means that you're also having an experience here about black men that isn't necessarily physical. You're having an experience with King Newborn before you even got a chance to talk to him. It's crazy. We got to acknowledge that, right? So let's keep it rolling, right? What qualities define a good black man, and are these qualities subjective or universal? Who wants to go first?
What? We listening. We listening. It's. I got 4 good men on here. Mm-hmm. Y'all need to clear your palate. Take a sip before you speak. True. Yeah, please.
I'll jump.
There you go.
So, what qualities define a good black man?
Mm-hmm.
I think all those qualities will be universal. It requires crazy enough. It requires a perspective on everything. You gotta have integrity, gotta have respect, gotta have love. You gotta be able to identify all of those things to even be a good man. And I think to be a good person in general, you have to find an opinion that you believe over yours. Have to find an opinion that you believe over yours, because that's important. Because you can always bounce your facts or what you think is gospel or whatever you got your information off of that person. And if they have the life, if they have the lifestyle, even if they have the financial, prowess that you look for, that you want in life, and you value their opinion, you can kind of guide the right way. Because all billionaires usually say they have the same recipe. You follow the recipe, you get the life. So I think just to be a good man, of course, everybody knows the basics and stuff like that. You just got to try to be a good person to somebody. You got to try to think about life from their perspective and yours and stuff like that. Take everything into account. But you really gotta have a good example. I'm really big on examples, because that'll set you way ahead of the curve quicker than anything that you can
failure.
read. Any type of knowledge, any type of failure. If you have the example, it's damn near shoe in.
So now I got a question to ask about that. So it sounds like what you're saying is a good man normally has something that they believe in that's higher than themselves. And whether that be a community member, a father, the idea of God. Like it sounds like you're telling me that, let's just go ahead and put it, people, if a person is a person, they got to have something to which they have to feel accountable to.
Yes.
Because he's in service to something.
You're always in service. I think that's one of the biggest things we do in life. You have to find out how to be in service to your neighbor. If you figure out how to help, life would be great.
Okay, so he's saying that he's a servant, though. A good man is a servant.
And he also said that a good man raises up another good man. Absolutely. If you have that in your life, you're going to prevent yourself from going through a lot of heartache. Not saying that he grabbed the mic. Let me shut up. He grabbed that mic real quick.
I like what you said, Sherman. Reason why I want to say that, and then God level just alluded to. I'm sorry. First and foremost, peace, fam. This is King Newborn. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Newborn Everything. And as always, I am of service to my community, friends, family, and loved ones. Peace. God level, Miss Tanner. And like Sherman said, in order for a good man to become a good man or a great man, he has to have an example, right? Then furthermore, we alluded to the fact that he has to see something greater than himself, or higher being, higher calling, God, Buddha, Ishmael, all that, right? Yeshua, everything, right? The beauty of that is all boys look up to be young men, and young men look up to be grown. So even though you're looking for a higher power, The only higher power of an example is the example of self, which is still self-mastery. So you study pushing to strive to reach the Christos, or your your seventh chakra, which is the mind, right? Because the mind is constantly developing through your experiences and through your exchange of frequency and vibration and energy in life. So the more you experience, the more you see of the pros and cons of what you would like to become and what you wouldn't like to become. And even in that could be tricky, but you always still have to have something about yourself, like Sherman said, morals, principles, rules, things that regulate you, things that help you understand that you need certain qualities to become these particular things. So you still have benchmarks, but nothing technically supersedes the fact that this is what I want to become. It has to be what you want to become. That's the only way it can become a reality. Otherwise, you're just fishing. Can't nobody make you do nothing. Nobody.
The desire to
I agree. I agree. I agree 100%. The way that I would explain it, because Sherman and King Newborn are right on target. The way that I would explain it is, you have to be a good man. You have to be pursuing something. Like, if you're not growing, you're dying. Whether it's a plant, whatever it is, if you're not growing, you're dying. And to be able to have a mentor or somebody who can guide you in those things, you're always going to be a product of your environment. So the question that I ask us men is, what environment have we put ourselves in? What environment have we gone in?
Okay.
A lot of the times, people may feel like they're good men based on the fact that they grew up in an environment that wasn't sustainable, and they got out of that environment. That doesn't change the habits that they've accumulated. You can't outgrow your past without acknowledging it. There's scar tissue that everyone has. So I think you always have to be pursuing. The other thing that I think you have to have and to be a good man is empathy. Without empathy, if you can't die to yourself and just see things from other perspectives, you're way behind. That's the issue. That's where white supremacy comes from. There is no empathy. Like, a lot of the issues that we deal with in general is based on the fact of lack of empathy. You have to have emotional intelligence. Now, with emotional intelligence, I want you to understand, ladies, that there's also a responsibility on your side, because when you deal with an emotionally intelligent person, a man who can articulate how he feels, it's not your job to place blame. It's not your job to guess. It's your job to take in what he's saying, because this is a vulnerable and transparent moment for a man. And the default setting for a man is, hey, don't share your feelings with your lady, because she's gonna bring it back up. She's gonna throw it in your face. You know what I'm saying? So yes, you have to have emotional intelligence, but you gotta also, with that comes a responsibility from all parts.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna jump in. No, go ahead. It's
because I'm getting ready to talk about you. I'm getting ready to talk about you, Ivy, because you said this a long time ago. Die to yourself, that ego.
Oh yeah.
And he just said it.
Mm-hmm.
He literally just said it. I be
Listen.
listening to y'all.
Listen, I was just getting ready to say the amount that I have died to myself between 2020 and 2025. You might as well just go ahead and pull up a whole damn graveyard and stick my ass in it, because it's like, bah, 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 bah. Oh, she dead. Oh, she came back again. She did. She came back again. Because the lessons that I have learned, baby, in these last 5 years,
yes,
sometimes to be like, I have to let people be people, and I have to, you know what I'm saying? I have to quit interjecting myself in everything. That was a hard lesson for me, as somebody who grew up thinking that I had to control narratives around me, because everything when I was coming up was out of control, if that makes any sense. So I didn't even understand that any relationships are not here to make me happy. Relationships are here to shape me. They're here to stretch me. They're here to form me. They're here to shape me and to sharpen me into being a better person for the destiny that I'm on. So that means whether it's a romantic relationship with somebody else, or whether it's a relationship with my best girlfriends, or if it's a relationship with my kids, they're there to help shape me. And sometimes that means that I got to die to the shit that I thought was right. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to go on mute.
Can I just want to say something, because this is just observation. You know, men, young boys have two choices: to either be a product of their environment or grow to be something greater than their environment, and the desire to be something greater. Some of them get lost in the sauce, take the scenic route, a lot of failure before they come out of it. Because I'm still be a believer that people can change. It may take them a long time, but in order to change, I don't know which one of y'all just said it. You got to acknowledge the bullshit you did in the past.
Mr. Lee.
Mr. Lee. I love you, Mr. Lee. Thank you for that. That's that accountability. That right there for me is going to always what sets a boy and a man apart. That's what's going to separate them. Men know how to take accountability. Boys, they're blame game. They have yet to learn just yet. So I want to thank you, men, for showing me that. Thank you.
Can I just interject one more thing? That I tell you guys, thank you. I finally understand now how guys are vulnerable and what man vulnerability means. What it don't look like mine. It doesn't look like mine. Okay. And I was like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And so if anybody is out there, if you watch it and you just don't understand, men have empathy. It just looks different than ours, ladies. Okay, now I'm gonna be quiet again. I'm gonna go.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and go ahead, God Level.
I'm sorry, Sherman. I'm gonna put you out there, but you know, we are a tribe. We have a group chat, and I was taking a ride one morning, and a lot of things was you know, you have those powerful moments where you realize some things. It's like, okay, I got to talk. Now I got to talk. I put group chat, who available? It was John and Sherman. I always talk to John. This time I wanted to hit Sherman up. And the fact that conversation was so good, that man was vulnerable with me, it took my trust level in him completely up. You did that for me. Thank you. I mean, you didn't come off as someone pretending to be something that you're not. And I love that. So and when I heard it, and it reminded me of what Ivy said, if you can't be vulnerable with me, I don't want to be around you, because you're constantly trying to pretend to be something that you're not. Those are fake people. They are not real. But the way, and you don't realize that when someone is being vulnerable with you, they're giving you permission to be vulnerable as well, to break down whatever walls you have between you and that person. He opened himself up, and I love that. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I respect it. Man, this is my...
It's always good.
Authenticity. Authenticity.
Yes.
Good men are authentic, right?
I want every woman.
But one thing you gotta also give yourself credit for, God Level, is you can't take out withdrawals without putting in deposit. Right?
Boom.
You can't put in no money and then expect to take out money. Right? So based off of the relationship that you guys have built, it allowed him, you put in enough deposits where he felt comfortable enough to give you a withdrawal. So you can't expect day one from everybody.
Right.
You know, that comes over time.
Because with men, we tend to be really strict about that. We already don't want to do, like, we want to do it, but we already know, like, chances is real slim. So it's like, okay, are you gonna be? You just like the rest of them, all right? No problem. I think
unintentionally somebody will sling an axe at your tree, and it's only so many strikes that you can take. So we're careful with what we give out. We're mindful, because
strategic.
We need to be protected, because nobody else will. At least that's what it feels like. Until you find the tribe, until you find some people, and I got mine.
He just snatched the mic again.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna throw this out real quick. Piece to that whole entire situation that took place between God Level, my sister, and Sherman.
Love.
I'm not gonna. This is not a moment of boasting or a moment of appraisal. The relationship y'all developed happened to happen because I pressed very heavily to correct who I was to become who I am. And because of that, y'all come from two different genre spaces, atmospheres, and environments. And some way, somehow, y'all linked and just so be sharing the same common denominator. And it was me. So it was a way that I was able to as my sister put it at the time, ain't no good man, right? I was put up under pressure, fire, and also cut to show and prove. Not trying to show and prove. I was just authentically being myself, who I was becoming and evolving to be. Prior to my sister, I had already developed a relationship with Sherman. So between the two, and then they mesh. They like, hey, I know this one guy, man. You really love this guy. And she was like, wait a minute, hold up.
Exactly.
I'm gonna interject. I showed him the podcast, and he was like, "I know him. I know him." I said, "That's my brother." I said, "Not my fake brother." I said, "We come from the same sack."
That's exactly what you said, and
Indeed.
I will still say, and I will always say, that's what set me on my track.
And he did. He was like that. Yeah, he did.
It was a little harsh. I ain't expect it. But he hit hard, but I knew it was coming from a place because he ain't talked to nobody else. He ain't talked to nobody else. He gave them respect, and he was cordial, but it was very, very, very short. But with me, I saw time. Like, why the fuck he giving me time? Like, what do you see in me? But he saw it. I did. But then the knowledge started to roll. And I had another product in front of me that I could see that he's doing it. So why the fuck ain't I? And he was telling me, if I can do it, get your ass in the truck and do it. That was all I needed for it to click. I was on the wrong road. Just needed somebody to pull that lever, get me on the right track. And it worked.
I bring that whole point full circle to say, had I been on bullshit, this probably would have never happened.
Not at all.
That's what I'm saying. So when John be breaking it down, when we in our head, it ain't just that we trying to find a space with our women or even in society to be vulnerable. We too busy in our head trying to find space to be vulnerable with ourselves. Sometimes we can be not so unforgiving. Sometimes we cannot be so unforgiving to ourselves. Sometimes. And that could be destructive. But when life show you who you are or who you are not, that shit can hurt. It can really hurt. So y'all came full circle, and I was just like, dang, what if I was on some bullshit? What if I was out here, proclaiming to be something that I'm not, and here it is. Oh yeah, Miss Tanner, you got to show and prove about execution, solutions. I'd have been exposed quickly, real quick. But I appreciate the journey of God Level, the podcast, and coming full circle, because a couple times I reached out to him like, bro, you all right? You good? What you doing? What you got cracking? What you doing with that CDL? Man, I'm straight on this and that. Then we stopped talking for it was like two years. Mm-hmm. And then boom, universe.
I finally when I finally got to God Level, I came to a point where I compartmentalized everything. I had everything in order. All my problems, all my solutions, how far I came, etc., etc. So when I got to her, I was able to give. I had enough water in my cup. So it was cool. And we didn't meet by coincidence. It was supposed to be full circle. Because I take it as a checkpoint to say, yeah, Sherm, you finally ready.
Oh yeah.
You can say something.
Oh yeah.
That's dope.
I gotta interject, right? I gotta listen. I know, because you over there. Listen, I'm about to make you laugh. I gotta break up this love fest real quick, right? Just for a half a second, because I have a question. Because something that I hear is common things, right? With at least I've heard this.
This is God level. Who am I speaking with?
This is Hosea.
What?
I'm gonna shut up and drink the rest of the time. I'm just gonna go on mute.
Just go
Peace,
on mute.
brother. Peace, brother.
Hosea.
Hey.
How you doing, brother?
I'm good.
Indeed, he is. Indeed. Indeed.
Go
I don't
ahead.
know if anybody said this because I'm just now tuning in, but it's not. There are a lot of good black men, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
But the question, it's not just about being a good man. It's about compatibility.
Okay.
So if you're a good man and if you're picking women that's not quite compatible with you, hobbies, interest, emotional intelligence, so you can be a good man, but if you're picking women who aren't at your level, you're going to struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and I see that, like I see good dudes, they go to work, they do all this stuff, and then but they're not quite with the woman that's quite as compatible with them. Because you need that to form long-term bonds and long-term relationships. So, that's just my two cents. Compatibility is that's extremely important in building a relationship with somebody.
Woo!
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Now that I got it. Now you just said that. I've got a question.
Go ahead.
Okay?
Oh shit.
Okay,
We got a
because
question.
if we're talking about compatibility, right? Okay, so let's just say, like, you've got somebody who you guys really don't have the same interest, but you have the same, you have the same mindset when it comes to morality or when it comes to values or something like that, right? Is that a compatibility? Or if you've got somebody who you don't have the same values, you don't have the same rules as that other person, but you have a goal.
The way I see it,
shared goal. Go ahead.
Everything is on the spectrum. So how much of this? So like my wife, she's not everything, but the things where we are compatible, I value so much. So I don't think we should look at everybody and be like, everybody has to be my everything. But we have to really take a deep dive and prioritize which values
That's the word.
important enough for us to have a relationship.
The priorities.
My wife, she doesn't read as much as me, but she does other things. And you know what? And I've actually been with women that read just as much as me, and we weren't compatible. So there's a frequency and a emotional compatibility with people that we have to focus on that. So how am I emotionally around this person? Do they make me feel at ease? Can I laugh? Can I be goofy? As in terms of just physical compatibility and
financial compatibility.
How does this person really make me feel? And I think sometimes we ignore those things when we're looking at the financial situation. Do they have kids? But that person may be emotionally compatible with you, but we ignore that because they don't live up to societal standards of compatibility.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh,
I can see that.
They're not living up to societal standards.
Society standards.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Society says a man has to be this, a woman has to be that.
Yeah.
But but everything ain't for everybody. Some people may be attracted to something else.
I'm gonna give you an example. She just passed away, and she was with D'Angelo, and they thought.
Angie Stone.
Yeah. Society standards said he should be with somebody not as big as her. Society standards. Yeah.
So when it comes to so correct me if I'm wrong, but if we're gonna, and this is probably not in the same realm of this, we might have to talk about this on another podcast or something. But when it comes to terms of love is an act of bravery anyway, right? So how is it that we're really honestly looking at societal standards with who it is that you're in love with? You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I get how it makes a lot of sense, because some people, they come from a culture where you got to match up. You got to please the parents before you can get married to the daughter and things of that sort. But I'm just like, if it really comes to the point of compatibility, I'm like, and like real, like honest, raw, I guess, with like that person who fills those spots for you. Is that really... Oh, go ahead. I'm gonna put myself back on.
I get what he's saying, how a person makes you feel. That caught me up for a very long time. How I felt at home.
Oh, yeah.
With a person.
Yeah.
I have to be careful with that, because what was home like growing up? So until I'm at a place where I have healed everything, then it could be different. So yeah, you got to be careful with that feeling, at home.
Well, no, but the other feeling is, does this person make me feel secure?
Yeah, there it is.
If the person doesn't make you feel secure, then that may not be the person for you.
Yeah, nobody wants to be around somebody that they have to question.
Because anybody can make you feel good. A con man can make you feel good, but
make you feel secure. Yeah.
Feeling good and feeling secure. I like that.
And feeling,
because
feeling sincerity from somebody.
Safe.
There's a difference.
Safe.
Anybody can make you. Anybody can make you feel good sexually, or people can make you laugh, but there are deeper compatibility bonds.
All right, so we're specifying the feelings here, right? That's what we're specifying the feelings. So security is a high feeling, right? But feeling good is very vague. To feel good is a very vague, right? All right, do they make me feel, I don't know, maybe joy, elation? So we're talking about more higher and more specific feelings, right? And they have to be more stable, I would presume, stable feelings.
Yeah, stability.
Yes.
And now there's of course some room for error, right? Because there has to be a baseline. It can't be like you can't be high all the time, right? So at bare minimum, there needs to be like some sort of like contentment, right? So even when you're bored, even when you're content, being with this person is still a good thing, because they make you feel these very specific emotions. Contentment, acceptance, respected, safety, right? It's consistent though. I consistently feel safe. Even if I don't feel happy, I at least feel safe. All right, so this is isn't there a prerequisite here? Like, isn't there a prerequisite for that? Like, doesn't that require the individual to actually do the inner work?
Do the work themselves.
I mean, and that also requires you to learn from your mistakes in the past.
Okay.
And that's why we date. We get this experience. We learn, so we now know better. So now we know what temperament we're looking for. We should now know better if you're learning from your mistakes. If you keep running into the same type of person, that means you haven't learned from your mistakes.
So that won't be a good black man, right?
Hell no, that wouldn't be a good black man. It's a black man that's running around in a circle chasing his goddamn tail or tail.
I gotta cut in. Real quick.
Yeah, and men and women do it. Like, if you look at domestic violence, unfortunately, a lot of those women end up with multiple guys that are domestically violent. That means they haven't quite got over their past trauma, and they keep repeating the same mistake.
I'm going to stop.
So those wouldn't be good black men, right?
No, those wouldn't be good black men.
Right.
I'm gonna stop
No,
you
know
right
what I'm
there.
saying? No, I'm just saying how I know. I'm just talking about how people go in circles. And
That's
how
a
they
show.
don't end up with good people.
That is a show.
Yeah.
That's a show.
But
Yeah. But we talking about good black men.
We're talking about good
Yes.
black
Good
men.
black man?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hold on. But Sherman been trying to jump in for like the last.
I gotta jump in on this because
Compatibility.
Okay.
And not just I don't know the words, but yeah, but you got to focus on compatibility.
Okay.
Do you have the same? Do we value the same things?
Yeah. Do you have morals? Do you have empathy? I like that. Empathy.
That's a social intelligence, though.
Yeah.
That we're still talking. Yeah, so that's a social intelligence. The ability to recognize your relatability to another person.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Right.
I think something that
As a
we're
good
all
black
forgetting.
man.
I think it's something that we all
I'm a very messy person. When I first start dating a woman, I'm checking to see if she's gonna clear about to me. That's a part of my compatibility test.
And she's gonna do what?
And if she doesn't do it,
And she gonna do what?
I'm a very messy person.
Yeah.
I'm a very messy person. So if I meet a woman and if my messiness really bothers her, I know we're not compatible. It's not gonna work. I'm recognizing that real early. And that's nothing against her. She needs somebody more compatible.
Yeah.
Right. So is that a quality of a good black man, subjective or universal?
But issues don't disappear as the relationship goes on. They just get worse.
Yeah.
So you gotta try to recognize them early and make a decision.
Makes sense.
Early detection. Yes, sir. Recognizing, hey, these are going to be problems. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
And I think a lot of good men ignore bad signs from women because they're hopeful or they're optimistic. But you gotta nip that shit in the bud quick.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, guys.
Thank you, Jose, for chiming in.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to listening.
You messy man, you.
Sherman, what you have, Sherman? Because like, bro,
It's just I always want to bring to the forefront. Don't do it by yourself. You can enjoy the vibes, you can enjoy the compatibility, but to cut your losses and to not have to go through so many partners and to fall down so many times. If you have a tribe, use it.
That part.
Bring
my
them.
next man gonna have to go to an interview with 4 men.
And you'll only need one because men can play women. We have to. We just. It's embedded in us to have a certain type of smoothness, a certain type of game, a certain type of this, a certain type of that. That doesn't work on other men. We'll be able to sniff you out in a minute. If you put him into this lion cage, he has to be a lion to come back out.
Just like they say, it's a thin line between love and hate. It's a thin line between you being real and you can possibly get your ass whooped.
There you go.
That's an invisible line that all men acknowledge, no matter what. No matter what.
You have to use your tribe. So to cut all of that down, to even cut the compatibility down and all the lessons that you would have to go through from people to person to person to person to person. Get an opinion that you value. You got to get an opinion that you value over yours. And if you're saying we're good man, bring them to us.
Yeah.
And we'll make sure he's one of them.
Yeah.
I feel for the brother.
John ready.
That try it over here. Okay.
John ready.
Go ahead, John. Go ahead, John.
Anyway, hold on. So I just want to real quick acknowledge we were supposed to move on from this question like 30 minutes ago.
Part 2.
We haven't even moved. So
Part 2.
And this question.
Yes.
Exactly. Yes, this question. So let me just at least try to get us to the next one, right?
Thank you, Michelle.
Just in terms of what defines a good black man from a universal standpoint, I think we can all agree on there are universal values, universal virtues, traits, principles. integrity, accountability. We heard that up in there. We heard emotional intelligence, social intelligence, respectfulness,
Empathy.
right? Yeah, we said empathy, dependability, reliability, because you know, a good man makes you feel secure, and he's secure in himself.
Safe.
We didn't say this one per se, but it's something every culture upholds: leadership, but without domination. There's a difference, right?
Leadership
Because, you
without
know,
control.
yeah, right. So it's he leads by example. He empowers, right? He doesn't control. He empowers. He uplifts. He motivates. He doesn't try to silence or suppress.
There you go.
Right? But then there are subjective qualities, and again, we've been kind of teasing at them throughout the whole thing. For example, it's like the provider versus the nurturer role, right? There's always the provider. But then sometimes you kind of neglect that there are men that aren't providing in the financial sense, but they can nurture, right? Like I know me, I can do both, right? I can nurture you. I mean, I'm a Cancer, so, but I got some water down here too, you know, right? And so it looks a certain way coming from men, right? It's not, it doesn't look feminine, even though it is, you know, it's just masculine presenting. It's just masculine presenting, all right? It's a presentation, right?
Yeah.
But as fathers, we can nurture, right? And we can also heal. That's a nurturing quality, right? But then there's other idiosyncrasies like faith and spirituality, or faith versus spirituality. It's like, okay, I know some good Muslim men, and I know some good Christian men, and then I know a few atheists, and it's like, yo, okay, regardless of your faith or your spirituality, you're still good. Like, okay, what you believe, that part right there isn't that crucial. You know, it's not a pivotal moment. So you can kind of still say, oh, I know a clan of good men, but they don't all believe in the same God. Even when it comes to, let's say, traditional values versus progressive values, right? So you might have someone that's more emotionally expressive and more egalitarian, more democratic, more flexible, versus someone who's a bit more strong, a bit more stoic, more head of household, you know, like he's very stern, doesn't show a whole lot of emotion, but he does have emotions, right? So that's like traditional versus progressive. And then there's like communication styles, you know, how does he communicate? You know, we all communicate differently as men, but does that determine our goodness as men? Ambition versus status, like, you know, there's different types of statuses. Like, I'm a veteran, right? But then, you know, you got Dion over here. He's a truck driver. It's like status. You can still respect a man regardless of his status, right? And then there's things like style and charisma. I think those things are not as critical, but they are subjective. They do color our perception or add a little bit more flavor to the goodness of a man, a goodness of a black man, but they're not the most important parts. We don't hyper focus on them because they're kind of like accessories, you know? Like, all right, my homeboy's a Christian, but what does that really have to do with him being a good man? You know, like, I don't have to recognize that when I'm communicating with him, right? To be like, hey, bro, I need to talk to you about something. And it ain't got nothing to do with his religion. It ain't got nothing to do with how he communicates. It's just knowing that he can support me. That's it. It's that simple, right? So there are universal traits out there. There are subjective traits out there, but we tend to give more stock to the universal ones. And I think, like Hosea was saying, we need to gauge our compatibility on, that's the priority, the universal traits, that's the priority. The subjective stuff, how does he provide versus how does he nurture, that's more subjective. Those are low priority. You shouldn't be putting those above whether he has integrity or not. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just want to add this one little piece to what John was saying and what Sherman, and then also my brother Mike Lee. When it's all said and done, every last one of us has to earn our right to become good men.
Yep.
That has to be earned.
Yep.
I just wanted to throw that out there. That's serious, man. That's serious. And I ain't saying it earned by a woman's standard of what she thinks a good man is for her. I'm talking about when you in a room with solid brothers that's on point, that ain't playing no games.
Gets
They
Yeah.
focus,
results.
they dial in, man.
Yeah.
You get shown some weakness about you. Like, no, I'm cool. I don't need no refreshments. I'm just gonna sit in this corner. I got my pad out. I'm finna just do a little writing, you know, a little sketching, a little rough draft because I see. Yeah, I'm off a couple. Shit, what level? You said 1. All right, put me down for 0.003. That's where I'm about at. Working my way up to 1. You know, yeah, you get exposed real quick, man. Real quick.
You do.
Okay.
I heard someone say that you can tell it's the difference between when a guy walks into the room versus when a man walks into the room. It's a big difference.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It's a big difference. So yeah, we're gonna have to come back next week for part 2 of how do societal expectations shape our definition of a good black man. I got something for that. The programming. But we will talk about that next week. I want to thank everyone for jumping in on tonight's live. Hosea for calling in. Michelle Tate. I hope I said that right. And Amina, we love you. We will see you all back here next week. John, you got me?
Salute.